Did Freightliner design the biggest fail of the century? Well, stay tuned, because I'm going to address one of the biggest and most common problems that these Freightliners have. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Gas Diesel Garage, everyone. If you haven't subscribed yet, I urge you to, because this diesel mechanic will be sharing a lot of mechanic and dealership secrets that you may not be aware of. And furthermore, I'm going to teach you guys how to diagnose and repair anything diesel and anything automotives, so you don't get screwed by the dealer. Now, what we got here today is a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia, and it's got issues with the coolant level sensor, and I'm sure you drivers out there have had this problem many times. Get the sensor replaced, which this driver had replaced yesterday, but still has that problem. Why is this happening? Let's investigate. Now, the first thing I do anytime there's something electronically wrong or a dummy light, we got to check the ECU on this rig. As I suspected, there you go, coolant level sensor circuit failed. So that means we got a broken wire somewhere. Possibly, maybe, probably is. Okay, so we got the code, and I want to explain to you guys on why the coolant level sensor is so important on these modern day diesels, because these diesels, because of the EPA and government agencies that probably just want to tax the hell out of you and save the earth and everything else. Anyways, this sensor has a lot to do with the DEF system on the engine. If the ECU is not reading the proper level of the coolant, then the engine's not allowed to go into regen mode. All the soot will build up, and then pretty much this thing will burn to the ground. So the sensor is important. Oh, and let me add that it will worry the hell out of the driver. So just FYI why it's so important. Oh, and it will shut off on you going down the interstate with a big old load. So yeah, it's a big deal. Okay, now you guys ready for the epic fail, the epic design fail of Freightliner? And it happens to all of these trucks, and this came from the factory like this, so get prepared. Here's your level sensor. It screws on in, and then here's the plug, and pay attention to all these zip ties. You see these zip ties? 1, 2, 3, and zip tied all the way down up into the wire harness. Well, see, what happens is, because they have such a tight loop on here, these things vibrate so violently, and with this thin little tape they got, the wires start to break, causing an open circuit. So 9 times out of 10, I say about 99.9% of the time when I get these in the shop, the wires are broke internally. But the only way to know that is to ohm it out. And also check for voltage and ground. The absolute first thing you're gonna do is pop all those needless zip ties that they got, because we're gonna route this thing a whole lot better way so this doesn't happen again. And this one right here is really tight on this dang wire harness. Oh, there we go. Let's pop this one too. Right, now we got access to the plug. We're gonna be popping a lot more of these zip ties and stuff, so you just hold on there. Okay, with the with the key on, engine off, we're looking for a 5-volt reference off the plug that's going into the coolant level sensor. 5-volt reference. Now, the blue and white, that'll be your positive, and the black, the black and white is going to be your ground. So let's get your voltmeter out. Hopefully you can see that. Baby. There we go. Look for 5 volts. Black and red, or black and white, go to your ground, and then the red. Okay, so we're getting absolutely nothing off of that. So what we need to do next is we need to check this whole wire harness for any kind of breaks, because that's what happens. And I want to strip it all back because this stuff is like really thin. It's a really thin, like paper. It's not even a rubber, it's like a paper that's covering these wires. It's kind of weird. Anyways, but look for any kind of breaks where the zip ties were having this secured. So just strip it back. Oh wait, there we go. Found one right there. I don't know if you can see that. You see the break in that wire right there? That'd be the blue and white, and that'd be your positive. So first thing we need to do is let's cut that part out and then retest to see if we got any voltage. Let's cut past it a little bit. Yeah, might as well cut the white and black also, because we're gonna have to redo the plug here. We're gonna take the pins out, disassemble the plug, and then we're gonna properly install. We're not gonna put no butt connectors on it, none of that crap, even though that's good in a pinch, but I don't do that. So let's pop it out. Let's strip it back a little bit. All right, got that out. All right, let's turn our voltmeter back to volts. Grab our leads. Red on white and blue, black on white and black. See if we get 5 volts. Bam, 5 volts. We're in business. So that means there's a break in that wire. So let's go ahead and rewire this thing. Now let's test the sensor itself. Now the driver said that he already had this repaired, or actually replaced, yesterday. Now the cool thing that Freightliner did is they made a sensor that you can twist out and it's not going to leak. Just twist it to the left, pull it down. There's your level sensor right there. Now brand new, these things ohm out at 150 ohms. So let's ohm this out, make sure this isn't bad. Switch it to ohms. Right. Let's see what we got here. Just put your leads on either side of the terminals here. You should see about 150 ohms. Yep, 151. So this is a good sensor. How many times did you go to the dealer and say that these things are on back order, and then, oh yeah, it just needs a sensor, just throw one in there? Did the mechanic even check? You know how much this thing is at the dealer? This little piece of plastic causes a whole bunch of problems. So let's throw this thing back in. Let's go see about re-pinning this. Now, I took that section out, and here's some more review on how these wires get broke. You see how flimsy they are? That's a sure indication that you got the bad connection or broken wire. Watch this. I cut that out, Watch me pull this out. Watch the copper come right on out. See that? Copper's still in there. Broke right in half. See? Look at all these pieces just coming out. That's the problem with the coolant level sensor. Now, what we need to do is we need to be able to disassemble this plug. And that's what we're going to do right now, and make sure we get the orientation right and put the wires back in the right way they are. So now to disassemble the plug, all you need is a couple of picks. Let's pop this little blue clip out of the top. Pop that one out. Can be a little bit of pain, but just be careful. You don't want to break any of this stuff. Alright, take that out. Pop this one out. That wants to be a pain in the butt. Pull that one out. Pull this rubber out. Okay. All right. Now, if you can see that, there's these two little clips that hold the prongs in. You just got to put a little pocket screwdriver down in there, and it pulls out. Just like that. Now if you have a terminal spade kit that has these types, get new ones, but since we don't, we're gonna have to reuse the old ones, and that's actually pretty easy. We just got to get the wires disconnected, because what we're gonna do next is, after I get these wires out, we're gonna solder the wiring harness on the truck into these spades. Now if you look closely, you see this right here? Here's the clamping part that actually clamps it in here. Now we're not gonna be able to get that part out, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna at least get the clamp out and spread it out, and then put the new wires on it, lay it over, and then we're gonna solder right in there. Right. See how I got that spread it out? Now we just gotta disconnect that wire, or basically cut it out. Or if you wiggle like this, I'm sure it's gonna come off, but we don't have that kind of time, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut it off right here. There we go. Right. That's what we're looking for. Alright, now that we get our two little spades ready, now we can go over back over to the truck and then solder these things in, reassemble the plug, and go from there. Now the absolute first thing I want to do to correct Freightliner's design issues is I want to put in a better sheath that will protect this wiring, from any heat and any kind of breakage in the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to install some heat shrink. Put about a good, I'd say about 2 feet in there. you got to install the cover to the plug. Put that in there. Okay. And your rubber piece. You can put this on after you solder the terminals, but it's just as easy to do it right now. Right. Now all we got to do is solder those ends on. Now it's just a matter of sliding them back into the plug. And you should hear it click. Okay, now make sure you can see that they're locked in. You should be able to see it. Okay, now we just gotta push the rubber back in like that. Actually, you could probably just slam it right in like this, which you can, right? Yeah, make sure you put the locking tab back in. Make sure you put it in the right way. Which I had right the first time. There we go. All right. Now what we got to do is we got to make sure that we're getting the power that we need out of it before we go ahead and mount this way that I developed. Okay, now with the key on and engine off, let's test the volts. Make sure we got at least 5 volts coming out of this plug. Remember, red on blue and white, that's your positive, and black on black and white. What do we got? I press a little hard right there, 5.416. Looks like I fixed it. Now it's time to route this thing in a way to where it's not all loopy and all kinds of craziness. Since we got it pretty sturdy now with the heat wrap, or heat shrink rather. Okay, now that we got this thing all rebuilt, built better, now it's time to route this thing. Now remember how I showed you in the beginning how this thing was all looped and everything like that, and that's what causes this thing, the wires to break? Well, we're gonna do something better. So what we're gonna do is we'll plug this thing back up. Plug it right back up. Make sure you press that red safety lock in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down here. We want a most direct route, so we're going to zip tie it to the oil dipstick tube. Don't worry guys, it's not going to heat up that bad because that dipstick tube is actually rubber, so you don't have to worry about that. And plus we got that tough shrink wrap on there, so the wires are protected. So like I said, just zip tie that to the thing right there. You can probably see it. Let's get this show on the road. Well, all right, see how much better that looks? It goes straight down instead of being up here and wired up and turned around and twisted. I say this thing is fixed. Let's go see if the check engine light went out and the code went out and cleared by itself. If not, then the laptop will pretty much clear it, but 100% sure that it corrected it. All right, we're on fault codes right here. All fault codes that would show up in this table here if there was any. So let's just go to fault history. Of course it's not going to tell me, but anyways, we don't have that little icon there to show like it before where the code showed that it was active. So I take it as this thing is fixed and a better design, if I do say so myself. Check that out. No more check engine light. Well, all right, now that we learned how to fix this engineering fail, what did we learn today? We learned that engineers are not mechanics. They do not work on them every day. So there's always other ways to make things a lot better. So if you'd like to see more of this type of stuff, please like and subscribe, comment in the bottom, or hit me up on Instagram at Gas Diesel Garage. Until next time, peace.